Someone feels the desire to open their heart to you, and this message arrives precisely because there is a kept feeling growing in silence on the other side. It could be that you have felt this in the last few days without being able to explain it well. A sudden memory, a different restlessness, a feeling that something is about to happen in the field of love. And I will tell you with much affection, when a connection begins to tighten someone's chest, heaven usually touches first the heart of the one who needs to prepare to listen. It is not by chance that you arrived here. There is a spiritual movement happening, and it involves words that haven't been said yet, feelings that haven't been confessed yet, and a truth that is maturing inside someone who can no longer pretend they feel nothing. This person has been carrying emotions that stayed trapped for too long. It might even look, watching from the outside, like everything is stopped, cold, or distant. But not everything that stays in silence is empty. There is silence that is fear. There is distance that is confusion. There is delay that is born from a heart that feels a lot but doesn't know how to start. And that is what the angels want to show you today. There is someone there much more moved by you than you imagine, trying to overcome an internal block to manage to express themselves. I know that, for the one who waits, this time hurts. I know also that often the woman who hears a message like this is already tired of signs, tired of feeling and not seeing attitude. But today, the message doesn't come to feed you with illusion. It comes to prepare you emotionally. Because when someone decides to open their heart truly, a lot can change at the same time. You know what I think when a message like this arrives? I think that there are feelings that delay because they are deep. Whomever feels little speaks fast. Whomever feels truly sometimes freezes, not always out of lack of desire, but because they know that a sincere conversation can change everything. Some people run away from their own truth until they realize they no longer support carrying the weight of what they didn't say. And the angels show exactly that. This person is reaching that point. Their heart is getting tired of hiding. The mind can no longer control like before. Thoughts about you return at unexpected times, in moments of silence, in small triggers of the day, in memories that insist on reappearing. You are more present inside them than they would like to admit. There is something important that you need to understand. The desire to open the heart isn't born out of nothing. It is born because your presence marked them. Your energy touched an internal place that wasn't replaced. Perhaps this person tried to rationalize, minimize, push for later. Perhaps they said to themselves that it was better to leave it quiet, that time would resolve it, that feelings would diminish. But the truth is another. Instead of diminishing, a tightness kept growing. Instead of forgetting, the awareness of what they feel kept increasing. And now they perceive that they are no longer dealing with a passing emotion. They are dealing with something that asks for truth. Before continuing, write this mantra in the comments. My heart receives only what comes with truth, peace, and love. Write it with faith, because when you write it, your heart also positions itself. And when the heart positions itself, the energy of the message finds more space to act in your life. The angels show me that this person comes fighting with a very strong internal conflict. On one side, there exists the real desire to look for you, to open up, to tell you what they feel, to show you things that perhaps they never had the courage to say. On the other side, there still exists fear, fear of your reaction, fear of finding in you a distance that before didn't exist, fear of perceiving that they lost too much time, fear of arriving and discovering that you are no longer in the same emotional place. And I want to tell you a very human thing here. This type of fear is more common than it seems. A lot of people lose beautiful opportunities, not because they don't love, but because they allowed fear to speak louder for too long. Only heaven has a very own way of tightening the heart of whomever needs to mature. The more this person tries to run away from what they feel, the more the truth reappears. A song, a phrase, a time on the clock, a place, a smell, a thought without warning. Everything begins to push them into what they tried to avoid. And this has generated in them a restlessness difficult to explain, because now it is no longer just about longing or memory. It's about an increasing need to put out what stayed kept. There exists something in them asking for liberation. There exists something in them asking for honesty. There exists something in them understanding that certain connections weren't made to be buried in silence. Perhaps you have gone through days when you felt a strange mix of hope and tiredness, as if a part of you still believed, but another part no longer wanted to create expectation. And I understand you. In my vision, this happens when the woman's heart has already lived a lot inside and learned to protect itself. Only the angels ask that you don't close your heart to the possibility of a truth arriving, not to get hurt again, not to accept little, but to be in peace with what can be revealed. Because when someone opens their heart to you, the first thing that needs to exist inside you is clarity. Not every declaration asks for rush. Sometimes the most important thing is not the emotion of the moment, but the lucidity to discern what is sincere. This person has rehearsed conversations in thought. They have imagined how it would be to look for you, how it would be to start, what words to use, how to explain what they feel without looking confused, how to get closer without looking too late. I know that this can sound invisible from the outside, but in the spiritual field, this movement is already felt. There is a preparation happening. There is a courage being formed. There is an internal knot beginning to undo. And that is why this message arrives now. Because before a confession exists in the visible world, it usually is worked in the interior world. Now, I want to ask you for a simple but powerful thing. Write 777 in the comments as an act of agreement with this message and as a sign that you are in peace to receive only what is true. And if this word is truly welcoming you and you feel in your heart the desire to support the channel, now the videos will have a QR code for donation besides the link in the description and pinned comment. Your gesture of support helps this chain of light to continue reaching people who arrive here with their heart needing to breathe. There is something even deeper happening, and I need to tell you this with much honesty. This person doesn't just feel the desire to speak, they feel the desire to be understood by you. There exists a very big difference between venting with just anyone and wanting to open the heart specifically to someone. When this happens, it is because there exists emotional trust, even if hidden. It is because they feel that before you, they wouldn't be just speaking, but revealing very intimate parts of their own being. And this scares them. It scares because truth connects. It scares because vulnerability takes off the masks. It scares because once the heart speaks, it is no longer possible to pretend that nothing happened. The angels show that this person looks at you with more depth than they have already demonstrated. Perhaps they admire your strength. Perhaps they see in you a presence that brings peace. Perhaps they feel that you have something rare, something they didn't find in other people, and the more they perceive this, the more grows the desire to open up. But along with this desire also grows the notion of the risk, because opening the heart is exposing oneself. It's stepping out of control. It's admitting that they feel. It's making it clear that you matter. And for whomever spent a lot of time trying to hide what they feel, this step seems huge. If you are listening to this message with a heavy heart, take a deep breath for a moment. Place your hand on your heart and feel. Not all delay means disinterest. Not all silence means absence of feeling. But it is also true that you don't need to live trapped to anyone's indecision. The angels want to strengthen you in this. Today's message is not to place you in the position of whomever waits without dignity. It is to remind you that, If there is a true openness coming in your direction, you're going to need to receive this with maturity, self-love, and discernment. Don't diminish yourself for anyone. Don't accept emotional crumbs. Don't confuse intensity with commitment. The heart needs peace, not just emotion. This person has come close to recognizing that what they feel for you no longer fits in superficial attitudes. They might even have tried to keep everything in a safe zone, in a lukewarm conversation, in a silent observation, in an incomplete closeness. But their heart already started to demand more truth. And here exists a very important key. When heaven wants to work a bond, first it dismantles the internal excuses. And that is what is happening. The justifications that before seemed sufficient no longer convince this person. They can no longer hide behind their own hesitation with the same ease. If you aren't subscribed to the channel yet, subscribe and stay with us. Here there is always a word of faith, direction and welcome for the days when the heart needs company. And I like to remind this because nobody should cross certain emotions alone. The angels show also that this person has thought a lot about how you would feel hearing their truth. This is very significant because it reveals that it is not just about relieving their own chest. There exists concern with you. There exists consideration. There exists care with the impact that this openness can cause. And when this type of feeling appears, it is a sign that you occupy a sensitive place inside them. Perhaps they imagine your look, your questions, your silence, your answer. Perhaps they rehearse possibilities in the mind and pull back. Perhaps they feel that they already should have spoken before. Perhaps they carry regrets that you don't even know. And here I want to bring a reflection that I think is very important. Sometimes, when someone delays too much to open up, the other person thinks that they were forgotten. But it wasn't always forgetfulness. In many cases, it was emotional immaturity, internal confusion, fear of losing, fear of revealing oneself, fear of not managing what they feel. This doesn't erase the impact of the delay, I know, but it helps to comprehend better what exists behind the behavior. The angels aren't asking that you make excuses for anyone. They are offering you spiritual vision so as not to judge only by the cold appearance of what happened until here. There exists a spiritual scene forming. This person in silence with a full heart, wanting to say more than they manage, wanting to get closer, but still measuring steps, wanting to open a door but fearing what they will find on the other side. And I feel that many women who listen to this message know exactly what that is, because they have already lived the side of waiting. Only today, heaven wants to remind you that if this conversation comes, you don't need to react with anxiety. You can react with presence. You can listen, feel, perceive, evaluate. You can let truth show itself in the right time. The angels are sending you a special sign. Your lucky number for today is 8. Write in the comments, I receive the energy of the angels. My lucky number is 8, and I receive this message with faith. And D, the 8 carries the strength of maturity, of the truth that sustains itself, and of what returns stronger after a time of silence. Receive this sign with peace. Now I need to speak to you about something delicate. Not always when someone wants to open the heart, the message comes perfect. Sometimes it comes confused, timid, incomplete, nervous. Sometimes the person speaks less than they feel because they are still trying to win their own block. So, if this moment arrives, don't listen only to the words. Observe the energy, the effort, the sincerity, the coherence, the humility. Because a true heart doesn't always arrive with a beautiful phrase. Sometimes it arrives trembling. Sometimes it arrives without knowing how to start. Sometimes it arrives late, but it arrives truly. At the same time, the angels ask that you also observe your interior. What does this possibility awaken in you? Peace, fear, joy, distrust, longing, relief. All of this matters. Your heart also needs to be heard, Because opening space to listen to someone doesn't mean abandoning yourself. It means respecting yourself enough not to run away from the truth, whatever it may be. There is conversation that heals. There is conversation that clarifies. There is conversation that closes cycles with love. There is conversation that restarts stories. And there are still those that show that a person delayed but arrived in the moment when you already learned not to abandon yourself anymore. Write in the comments a list of people, including yourself, whom you would like to forgive. Visualize each of them. Send love and say, "I forgive you and I release you. May peace be with you." Feel the lightness this brings, because to receive any truth with clarity, the heart needs to be less heavy. Forgiveness is not forgetting what happened. Forgiveness is stopping carrying a weight that hurts you inside. The angels show that this person walks more sensitive than they appear. Things that before they ignored now move them. Words that before escaped now stay. Memories with you gained more strength. There exists in them a maturation happening, even if silent, and this maturation is linked to the perception of your value. They are understanding little by little that certain presences cannot be treated with superficiality. They are understanding that what they feel for you asks for emotional responsibility. And this is big, because when someone begins to see the real value of a woman, they can no longer continue acting as if she were just another one. Perhaps heaven is allowing this slower process because it wants to protect you too. Yes, protect you. Because certain conversations, when they happen too early, come shallow. Certain people, when they speak before maturing, say beautiful things, but don't sustain them. So even if this delay seems difficult to you, there exists an internal work being done so that when the heart of this person opens, there is more consistency. I believe in this a lot. Better a truth that arrives more mature than a rushed emotion that doesn't know how to maintain itself. If you are listening to this at night, perhaps in silence, perhaps thinking of someone specific, I want you to feel one thing. You are not alone. There are many women here living similar confusions, feeling similar signs, trying to understand similar delays. And I like to speak this because sometimes we think that only our story is complicated. But the human heart is full of layers, and God knows how to touch even what the person hides from everyone. The angels ask that you maintain your emotional dignity, continue your life, continue taking care of you, continue strengthening your peace. Don't stop your walk because of the possibility of someone opening up. Receive the message as direction, not as prison, because what is true finds a path. What comes with sincerity shows itself. What has consistency sustains itself. You don't need to run behind anyone's confession. Heaven is preparing you to recognize when it comes. Share this video with 2 dear people who need this message today. And if you can, leave also in the comments a prayer for your guardian angel. When many people unite in intention, a very beautiful chain of welcome is created, and I believe that this strengthens the heart of whomever arrives here needing a sign. The most beautiful part of this message is that it doesn't speak only of someone wanting to open up. It speaks also of you being seen, of you being felt, of you occupying a real space inside someone's heart. And I know that for many women, this touches in a sensitive place, because there were times when they felt invisible, not chosen, not valued, not understood. So today I want to remind you of something simple but strong. You are not invisible. Your presence marks, your energy touches, your love leaves a trace. Your way of caring, of feeling, of perceiving, of loving doesn't pass in blank when it arrives in the right heart. And if this person really gets closer to open their heart, may you have wisdom. May you not lose yourself in fantasy. May you not harden out of fear. May you not diminish out of need. May you just remain whole, because a whole woman manages to listen with sensitivity without abandoning herself. She manages to perceive sincerity without losing lucidity. She manages to welcome a truth without negotiating her own value. The angels close this message, showing that there exists a real movement happening, still invisible to the eyes, but strong in the emotional and spiritual field. Someone feels the desire to open their heart to you, and this impulse wasn't born out of chance. It was born out of the weight of your absence, out of the strength of your presence in memory, out of the awareness of what they feel, and out of the increasingly lesser difficulty of hiding. Silence is becoming too small for the size of the truth that exists there inside. If this message spoke with you, write in the comments, "I receive only the love that arrives with truth and courage." Share your experience, like this video, and subscribe to the channel for more messages like this. Thank you for being here with me. May God bless your life, strengthen your heart, and give you clarity to recognize everything that comes in peace. Until the next video.